Yeah.
We have staff from the chairs. Some chairs.
Can I get it fresh?
Right. There's that staff, yeah.
Nobody's ever called me saying.
Well, I won't start either. Definitely not.
Okay, are you ready? All right, let's call the meeting to order. The pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Councilmember Seeger,
Here.
Councilmember Heilman, Councilmember Pruitt, here, Councilmember Bramlett,
Here.
Councilmember Price, Councilmember Happy,
Here.
and Mayor Wood.
Here. All right, additions or amendments to the agenda? All right, adoption of the consent agenda.
Make a motion to adopt the consent agenda, which includes the approval of action minutes, meeting minutes of July 27, 2026, and the ratification of the bill to $113,298.11.
All right, so I've got a motion by Pruitt, second by Price. Any discussion?
No discussion on consent
Well,
agenda.
that's right, we decided that last time. All right, so. See, if you don't, boy, you don't discuss. All right, so all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. All right, so the motion for adoption of the consent agenda, the approval of the action minutes of July 27, 2026, and ratification of the bills in the amount of $113,298.11. The motion was made by Pruitt, second by Price, all in favor. All right. Appearances of interested citizens to share a variety of perspectives on issues facing our community. I don't have none of them.
We don't have it. Anybody want to say anything? Okay. It's in.
Special reports. All right, now we're gonna move on into a public hearing. The public hearing on the adoption of ordinance number 472, amending the community development code to allow RV camping in light industrial zone, is called to order at like 7:05 p.m. Any comments in favor, opposition, or in general?
Well,
You're gonna read
we have
your,
a staff report,
yeah,
so. And we have Caitlin Cook with us from AKS, our planner. And you need to share your screen.
Yes, yeah. You could just enable sharing from the host. I can pull some slides up for the staff report. Yeah. Looks like we're on screen, okay. Good evening, City Council, my name is Caitlin, I'm the contract planner for the City of Cascade lots, and I'm here to present a staff report for the proposed text amendment to add RV campgrounds to the light industrial zoning district. So the application revises the permitted uses in the light industrial zone to allow RV campgrounds as a permitted use under the retail sales and services. This text amendment is limited to the light industrial district and does not change any zoning map designations or other chapters outside of the permitted uses within the light industrial zoning district. In the blue column on the screen, you can see this, the orange text is what would be added. to the ordinance. This slide demonstrates the city lots, Cascade Lodge zoning map. The light green color, if you squint, you can see it, indicates the light industrial zoning district. Most of these zoning areas are near the Columbia River. Currently, RV campgrounds are allowed conditionally in the downtown commercial, resort commercial, public zones, and are not permitted or allowed conditionally in the light industrial zoning district. So with the staff report, we looked at the text amendments compliance with statewide planning goals, Oregon administrative rules and statutes, as well as the Cascade Locks comprehensive plan. So first, let's take a look to see how this amendment aligns with the statewide planning goals. So the application process followed all applicable public notice procedures. Therefore, it was found to be compliance with Goal 1 citizen involvement. Goal 2 requires a coordinated factual basis for land use decisions and consistency between ordinance and comprehensive plan. The proposed text aligns zoning regulations with adopted economic development and tourism goals, which we'll go into a little bit later. The city's land use inventory identifies light industrial zone lands as capable of accommodating a range of uses. Adding RV campgrounds as a permitted use implements the plan's direction to amend zoning standards to meet changing economic goals as well as community needs. RV campgrounds fits into the light industrial guidelines, thinking about small scale structures, waste rooms versus substantial open space and landscaping, which complements the scenic and open space character of the light industrial zoning district being close to the Columbia River. Which it meets goal 5 being natural resources and open space. Goal 8 relates to the satisfaction of recreational needs. And this is meant because RV campgrounds are a visitor accommodation and a recreational lodging facility essentially. So it directly supports goal 8 recreational needs. Goal 9 is supported specifically from the 2009 economic opportunity analysis from the Cascade Locks, from the city of Cascade Locks. It identifies tourism and recreation as key economic drivers. So the Hood River County Tourism supported about over 1,000 jobs via $72 million in direct visitor spending. Now this is from 2009, so the numbers are a bit dated, but it does demonstrate how the industry has been an economic driver throughout the region. So the amendment expands visitor serving uses in the light industrial zone, and the city has coordinated with the Port of Cascade Locks to preserve industrial development potential within the zoning district. Goal 11 is met because there is no change to infrastructure standards. So future RV campgrounds must demonstrate adequate public facilities at development review per the city's capital improvement policies. So let's dive into the Oregon administrative rules and state statutes. So there are multiple applicable rules and statutes that are covered in the staff report and is summarized on the slide above. However, I would like to take time to talk about the pertinent findings related to the economic and industrial land protection, as well as RV occupancy. So the industrial land protection OAR requires that comprehensive plans identify adequate land supply for industrial and employment uses, and then implementing measures protect and provide serviceable industrial sites. So this is meant because this is adding an additional use to the zone that is permitted. It's not taking away permitted uses that's already allowed in the zoning district. And the city coordinated with the Port of Cascade Locks to confirm that there is no conflict of any planned industrial development currently. So the RV occupancy protection outlined in the ORS 197.493 provides that a state agency or local government may not prohibit the placement, the occupancy, or impose a length of stay time limit of an RV solely on the grounds that the occupancy is an RV itself. subject to specific conditions. So the proposed text amendment does not impose any time limit on the length of occupancy with this amendment. Currently, RV campgrounds do not have any length of time, a length of stay limits within the code. Therefore, the amendments are consistent with the standard staff found. Lastly, let's take a look at the City of Cascade Lofts comprehensive plan alignment. The text amendment has followed outline procedures for the text amendments, which is subject to public notice, planning commission public hearing, which they recommended approval to city council this evening. Therefore, we found that it did align with the planning, citizen involvement, and agency coordination goals. The text amendment also supports the comprehensive plan goal of commercial and industrial revitalization and development, as it expands the zone's flexibility of permitted uses to support tourism and economic diversification. So currently within this zoning district, the permitted uses include generally community services, office, religious assembly, adult daycare, parking lots, manufacturing and production, wholesale uses, industrial services, and more. Staff found that the subject addition of RV parks increases the flexibility while not increasing the overall intensity of uses allowed in that zoning district, if that makes sense. The plan directs job creation from the economic development plan and adequate commercial and industrial land. The amendment broadens industrial zone uses, supporting business expansion and new tourism enterprises. RV campgrounds are visitor serving lodging, which again supported about over 1,000 jobs in Hood River County, according to the 2009 Economic Opportunities Analysis, which met the comprehensive plan goal of job creation. And then the comprehensive plan calls for zoning to be regularly updated to reflect community and state changes, ensuring orderly development while also requiring timely, effective provision of utilities and public services within the urban growth boundary. This amendment satisfies both directives. So it updates the light industrial zoning standards to become more compliant with current industry needs and without altering any current, they still have to meet every infrastructure standards that's currently required of any development that goes through a site plan review or site design review. So any future campground remains subject to full compliance and must demonstrate adequate public facilities at the time of development, ensuring future orderly development. So to conclude, staff found that the proposed amendments are consistent with statewide planning goals, Oregon administrative rules, and revised statutes, as well as the Cascade Lofts comprehensive plan. So the options tonight are to move to approve the amendments to the Cascade Lofts Community Development Code, Chapter 8-6.84, and adopt ordinance number 472. You can move to approve with revisions, or you could retain the existing chapter standards, which would mean not to move forward with the code amendments this evening. And that concludes the staff report. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm happy to answer any questions you have for staff.
You guys, anybody have any questions? Courtney?
I'm just curious on the economic plan and opportunities analysis that you're using 2009. Was there a more recent study that was done?
That was the most recent applicable study for this.
Tiffany?
And that just adds,
I can almost not some kind of
it. It added, because a lot has changed since 2009.
Yeah.
I mean, we've had COVID and things have definitely changed, so it seems a very old document to rely on for the information, but I do have a question on the the finding 3 of recreational vehicle occupancy says that your local government may not prohibit the placement, occupancy, or impose a time limit of an RV as a residential dwelling.
Mhm.
So does that take away all of the local control on how, I mean,
We don't have that control now.
so anybody could stay there for a year if they wanted?
It's on, so it wouldn't, the local government or state agency could not put time limits, the private property owner could. And that does not change the current standards for existing RV campgrounds at this time.
All right, Bernard.
Yeah, can you go back to the map that shows the zones for the city of Cascade Locks? Yeah, that one. Okay, so. Yeah, the LI, the light industrial, section, there's one, just, I guess, I don't know how he's. Near government code, or no, that's not Waterville, is it? You got the pink number here with you.
Yeah, so it's that funny green color.
Okay.
Like industrial zone.
Right.
You got Herman Creek Lane and a Crampton Lane.
Okay, so. If I'm clear, this is aligning our code to, assist the potential. RV siding of an RV park in Cascade, okay, that's my understanding. And so. This space right there, that looks like it's all owned by by this Port of Cascade Locks, is that right? The one
The one to the right.
The one to the right, okay, but I see one, you got some heavy, and then another line, and then I see a little piece down there, who owns those? Do we know who owns those? Because we do this, and those other property owners go, we can do an RV park now too, that's now in our repertoire of potential property uses that we're kind of greenlighting if we approve this. And as much as I like RV parks, I wanna be sensitive to that, it's like, do we want a lot of these? And so I wanted to understand that, do we know who owns those other pieces of property, maybe? Steve?
To the left or
Yeah.
the center one, that's Smoky Mountain Logistics, the west of Herman Creek Lane. The port owns the multiple buildings for the businesses and that surround our well field.
Uh-huh,
The rest is our sewer plant.
okay, that's,
And then all the way to the left, that's already the port's property down on the marine park.
okay. So as far as a public agency having some oversight on the future of those light industrial zoned areas, two of the three are in public, they're in public oversight, okay?
Yeah.
But the one where what do you call it?
Smoky Mountain.
Smoking, okay, so in theory, they could someday say, we wanna do an RV park here,
Good.
okay,
But they're busy building buildings that bring them out to Mike's Porch.
And if I could also add, it wouldn't, I mean, it is permitted, it's being proposed as being a permitted use in the light industrial district today, but there are also other zoning districts where it is conditional use that allows provision for other property owners to develop.
right, I understand that, we're just kind of growing where these things can go.
Yes.
If we approve this tonight.
Yeah.
And is it, just so I understand, could the city just approve it for the one piece of property, or is that not? What would we have to do to that? Is that like
So this would be it couldn't just be approved for one property alone. It has to be allowed in your zoning district, so it's a conditional use, it's a permitted use. It's not typically a one-off for a specific property owner for a specific purpose, it has to be applied for everyone evenly throughout the zone.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
I got my question answered.
Did you?
Good job, Bernard.
All right, any other questions? Stephanie?
So when in this, the staff report is that, okay, so, in here, on the first page of the staff report, it says, and I like the fourth, fifth paragraph down, it says this request constitutes an amendment to the CLCDC. And is not associated with a specific development proposal or parcel, but I kind of feel like we all know that it is, and I mean, it's in anticipation of it.
In anticipation of, but there is no proposal at this point.
And also, it's for the entire zoning district, so like Councilor Seeger was saying. That any property owner within the light industrial district it would be a permitted use to them, however, they would still need to go through all the applicable processes to do that, such as the site design review. and potentially have a traffic impact analysis as well, depending on the generated trips.
Courtney,
And then, for the traffic impact review, is that gonna be also based on the numbers from 2009?
No, so the numbers from 2009, that was just to get some updated data on what the tourism industry was doing. That's the most up to date data I could find. It was found to be compliant with the overall goals relating to industry and pushing tourism further, things like that. But to get back to your first question, I'm looking at my notes here because I have. It would require a transportation impact analysis if. It would be estimated to generate more than 50 vehicle trip. And during morning or afternoon peak hour. So basically that's a provision from the code saying that if there was 50 vehicle trips during a peak hour, there would potentially have a transportation impact analysis be required with the development.
Is there a definition for what a vehicle is?
An RV is a recreational vehicle, so I
And then if
could
they're-
defer.
If they're towing their vehicle, does that count as one or two?
I would look into that. That's a really good question. I'm not sure, but
We have a really old bridge.
Yeah.
And so I'm concerned about it.
yeah,
Which bridge are you talking about, the one on Frontage Road or?
Herman Creek, it's been an issue for years.
Herman Creek's in better shape than the Frontage Road.
I'd also like to
I'm
know.
worried about all of them.
Thank you. The other issue is on tourism. You know tourism is important here, and you could just look at the growth of the transient room tax and how it's grows each year, which makes tourism is getting more and more important to our economy.
And they would need to use current, the most recent like transportation impact numbers, and not anything from 2009 or over 20 years ago,
Tiffany,
Can you define peak hours? What do you mean peak hour? What do you mean?
I could look that up in the photo really quick if you give me a moment here, but it is defined in the photo, exactly.
6 p.m., 7
Or 6 p.m. and 7 to 9 p.m.
And 4 to 6 p.m.
Yeah.
And is that, I'm sorry, is that Monday through Friday and that doesn't include the weekends?
Yeah.
This is Darren Ekman with AKS Engineering.
Okay, representing the Port of Cascade Locks. So the Institute of Transportation Engineers develops a trip generation manual. The current edition, I believe, is 11, however, 12 is coming out. That trip generation manual identifies different land uses and does studies on those different land uses, whether it's an industrial park, a business park, an office complex, an RV park, and campground. And they calculate or they identify how many vehicle trip-ins are generated by whether it's the number of occupied campsites or the number of acres or the number of thousands of square feet of office space or building space. This is all very regulated and given. I mean, it's equations basically to come up with the different numbers. As far as, so different uses have identified vehicle trip-ins for weekdays. Some uses also identify vehicle trip-ins for Saturdays and Sundays. It just depends upon the actual land use as far as what's in the ITE.
all right, Courtney.
When you say vehicle trip end, what is that?
A vehicle comes onto the property or leaves the property.
Okay. And we're starting essentially.
Exactly.
Okay.
One or the other. And to answer the question about the vehicle being, you know, like the RV and the trailer, I believe that that is one unit, or one vehicle.
Any other questions? Bernard?
And just to be clear, so that property is, both the light industrial sandwich between two heavy industrial. And if we make this change, in no way does that then reduce the optionality or the development of those heavy industrial property. They can still, as long as they comply with our code, they can develop heavy industrial. And they don't say, oh, we're an AV, RV kid, you can't do your typical heavy industrial, because now you might have some or dislike impact. Doesn't change that at all, right? They still have their full right as a property owner to develop that. Okay.
Yeah, that's correct.
Right, any more questions from council comments? Any written testimony?
We have received none.
Alright. Alright, then we'll open the public hearing for testimony, and time will be limited to 5 minutes per person. Any interested person may present testimony. Anybody have anything to say? We will then close the public hearing at 7:28 PM. And you have any final comments?
We'll have some more discussion if you have any more questions during the actual staff report.
Okay. All right, so we have no more discussion from you guys, so we'll move on, correct? So we closed it, we're done with the public hearing. And now moving on to action items. First reading of ordinance number 472, amending community development code to allow RV camping in light industrial zone.
So we can read that by title only. Or I can only do, I can read it all out to you.
I'd like to along with
It says that it could be title only if everybody agrees to that. Everybody goes to title only? All right, title only. Good.
Ordinance amending the community development code is adopted by ordinance number 350 by adding text.
And we're not voting on anything tonight. This is
Have any
the,
discussion?
yeah, any discussion. We're not voting or anything.
I just had one comment I wanted to make.
Mhm.
I wanted to say that I understand why the board is pursuing this zone change. And it makes a lot of sense for me, who's been here since 2007 and seen this town struggle economically. We've been trying to bring industrial development, we've tried to bring the Bridge Dodge Resort and Casino, we've made all these big efforts to bring substantive development to our very empty industrial land. We haven't been successful, but we know what has been successful is tourism, and our TRT keeps going up, our hotels are full, and we know that's a key driver. So them trying to set the conditions to capitalize on that, I totally get and I support, so.
Any more comments or anything? All
Thank you.
right. Moving on, reports and presentation. I have department reports, EMS, Fire Chief John Logan. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Good evening. I put a spreadsheet in front of you guys before I came in. I'll talk about that a little bit, but I'm gonna turn it over to Jess real quick. Something that we're gonna start to try to do. Anytime any of our membership receives a certification through our certifying body, which is DPSST, we're gonna try to bring them up here and present them with their certification in front of you all. So Jess. That's why the big peanut gallery.
Yes, so we've got quite a few, newer volunteers that are behind me. And we have some that have been around for a little while. But we wanna highlight some of the hard work. I have a giant stack of paperwork. This is all within the last year that we have sent off for certifications to the state of Oregon for these guys' trainings and their accomplishments that they've done over the last year or so to gain all this training. So I really want to point out the amount of training that these volunteers have gone through in order to receive a lot of this training. So, thank you. For a firefighter one, just the basic level training is 180 hours of training. There's the driver, just to be able to drive an emergency vehicle, it takes another 50 hours. For your wildland, training, it's about 40 hours of training. And then, if you wanna increase that training level, it's another 10 hours of training. And then there's the hazardous materials awareness and operations, which we have a lot of that stuff that travels through this community. And that's another nearly 50 hours of training for a total of 323 hours of training just to be at the basic level. Just to be able to go out there and do the job as a firefighter. Those are what are required by OSHA. And those are the standards in which we hold ourselves to. So I wanted to present some awards, some certificates of certification here to these volunteers behind me and kind of highlight the accomplishments that they have put forth. So the first one is Jason Van. Jason, would you step up here, please? So Jason has completed his firefighter one, is hazmat awareness and operations, wildland firefighter two, and is currently working on apparatus operator, which is not in the basic level. That's another level up in the firefighting field. And I have 2 certificates for him. Maybe I have 3 of them. I do have 3 of them because your driver's in there as well. So these are for you. Thank you. John Richardson. So Sean also, let me look at my notes here so I make sure I get it all right, but Sean also has his firefighter one, hazmat awareness and operation driver. And his wildland firefighter type 2. So that's for you, thank you. Sam. Sam is one of our paid staff. He's a paramedic and we see him a few days a week. But he has also accomplished quite a bit. So Sam has his firefighter one hazmat operations and awareness, driver instructor one, wildland firefighter type 2, and passenger vehicle operations. And I have 2 certificates to give to you. Owen Zerfing. Owen's been around for quite some time. I mean, Owen was around, following me around when he was a little kid. But Owen's accomplished a lot and actually been putting into some leadership positions as well. And he is working on getting him next level in his wildland training so he can be an engine boss. But currently Owen holds his firefighter one hazardous materials, operation awareness, driver, wildland, firefighter type 1 and 2. And he has 3 certificates here. Jelly? Shit, I mean, I just got these as I walked in the room here, so.
We'll need copies of these.
I will need these back, Shelley. But Shelley is she's always doing our summer hire, but most of the time she's a volunteer at the fire station. And Shelley has put herself through EMT class, went to Arizona to do that, as well as she has her firefighter one and her hazmat. No, excuse me, she's got her firefighter one and she's got her wildland firefighter, EMT, and I have 2 certificates here. Thank you. Everyone listen here. I'm gonna figure Zach. Hey, Zach, you wanna step up here? Oh, sure. So Zach's been here less than a year. I don't have any paperwork for you because I think we're still waiting on some fingerprinting and some background, but. Zach has finished his firefighter one hazmat and is in the process of doing apparatus operator training. So once we get his paperwork completely filed at the state level, he'll be holding those certificates too. So less than a year. Got a lot of- Then we got Jacob. Jacob, he is, less than a year of experience at the fire station, but he's also completed his firefighter one training and his hazardous materials awareness and operations level, and we're working on our wildland training. So, thank you for all your effort. We do have some other people that aren't in this room that we have paperwork for. So we have a Cassie Adler, and she's got her hazardous materials awareness training. Then we got Henry Wilson. He's also a paid staff, but he's done some training with us as well. So he's got his wildland training, his hazmat training, and his firefighter one. So, and then the last person that I have, I think with everybody's coming. We're gonna have to everybody. I just want to make sure I didn't miss somebody. I've got a John Logan in here somewhere. So if you want to hear the long list of certificates that John Logan has, I can go through those, but we might be here for a while. John holds certificates from firefighting to wildland, leadership training, and instructor training. So John has just completed his NFPA fire officer one training. So we are happy to have him. Thank you. If you guys know what these guys are going through currently, we are working on 3-day-a-week training. Very extensive training that we're doing. Currently we're working from 6 p.m. until almost 10 o'clock at night going through this apparatus operators training. It is very intense training, learning how to run a fire pump. It's not just turning knobs and saying there's your water. Everything has to be at certain levels. So we've been working on those Mondays and Thursdays. We've been doing those for the entire month of August and part of July. And firefighter one training is like 3 months long at 2 days a week. And that's not including regular drill. So regular drills on Tuesdays, so that's 3 days a week that these guys are putting down there at the station, doing 4 hours a day of training. It's a lot to ask them to volunteer. So I think you guys should be really proud of the amount of volunteers we have currently and the training that they've gone through. And I really want to express the fact that these guys go through a lot. And it's a lot to really try to sink in because we in Cascade Locks do everything. So it's not just firefighting, it's not just medical training, it's not just going on rescues on the trail. We do everything from hazardous materials to water rescues to firefighting of structures and wildland. We do vehicle extrication. There's a lot that we have to do, and it's a lot for a volunteer that has their family and their regular jobs they have to go to every day. So firefighting is just a portion of what we do. So anyways, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Okay, so just kind of explain this little spreadsheet a little bit. The required training at the top, 323 hours of training just to get your basic. And then the amount of people we have certified in that. And then the total number of hours that everybody has put in amongst everybody that is certified. So you're looking at over 5,000 hours, man hours, that our volunteers and our career staff have put in just to be at the very basic level. And then the medical training, EMT, advanced EMT, EMT intermediate, and paramedic. There's 2 ways to go there. Everybody has to become an EMT. So that's 200, on average, 200 hours. And then you can go advanced intermediate. And so you 200 plus 300 plus 100 Or you can go from your, EMT to your paramedic in Oregon. So those are the hours, and those are the number of hours that everybody's put in, medical training. And then all the optional training, these are all just, different, levels that allow you to do more things on a fire ground. And, so, you know, your firefighter two, your NFPA apparatus operator, all the S classes or wildland classes. So you have to do your S-131 before you do your engine boss, and before you do your task force leader, you have to do the S-290 class, which is a weather class. Then instructor and fire officer classes. So there's a lot of different classes that our folks are going to provide the service, that we provide to our community. And most of these trainings are offered in-house at no cost, to the city. So between all of our instructor ones, we can pretty much teach all of these classes, minus, the task force leader and, the S-290 weather class. Those have to be, done by an instructor that's not in our, department. So something else I wanted to bring up, just kind of wanted to give council like a 30,000 foot level view of what happens on a structure fire. So I brought a visual aid. All of our fire engines and my command rig have one of these. This is a command board, and so it gives cues to the incident commander of what needs to happen on a call, on a fire. So, first is the incident commander. That's 9 times out of 10 gonna be me, unless I'm out of town, then it's gonna be Jess. So the incident commander's job is to stand back and manage the whole scene. So like, if you were walking by any of our structure fires, you would have saw me standing at my command rig with this board out, talking on radios. The incident commander is responsible for every operation that is happening on a fire, as well as every personnel that's operating on that fire. Then you can break it out from command to having an operations chief who takes all the tactical stuff and makes the crews do the different things to make the fire go out, and coordination with incident command. Then we always have a safety officer, and that person just walks around the fire ground looking to make sure everybody's operating safely. And then generally, we don't really have a logistics planning or a finance department. Those are for longer periods of time if your incident extends past an operational period, which is 24 hours. So once the incident command is set up, the crews come in, so the fire engines come in and they perform fire attack, ventilation, where they cut holes in the structure to get the smoke and heat out, search and rescue of the building to make sure there's no people in there. If they are, they bring them out and give them to an ambulance crew. We have this team called RIT, Rapid Intervention Team, and you'll notice like there's a whole engine company kind of just standing off the side, not really doing anything. That engine company is designed, if a firefighter goes down, that they're the rescue team for that down firefighter. So all the other firefighters doing other things can continue to do those, and we're still able to rescue our downed or injured firefighter. On a fire, we have to coordinate with, at least in the city, we have to coordinate with Public Works, city lights to get water and power shut off to the structure. If it's anywhere near a highway, we gotta coordinate with ODOT to get roads closed. Sheriff's office usually shows up to help manage crowds. So that's kind of the 30,000 foot level of a fire. To date, we've had 219 calls for service, which is down a little bit from last year. But looking at the calls, our acuity of calls, or how they're a little higher, so we're dealing with bigger incidents this year than we did last year. Last year was a lot of smaller incidents. This year we've dealt with larger calls. I.e. the 2 structure fires that happened. We were averaging 1 structure fire every 3 to 7 years. we had 2 of them this year. So then after the fire, the state fire marshal is our investigator, at this point. I just need to investigate one more fire. And then I will be an investigator, but we will still bring the state fire marshal's office in. Cause they have a lot of tools and resources that they can use to investigate fires. So it's kind of my departmental update. Any questions, comments?
Anybody have any questions or comments? I just wanna say thank you guys for everything you do. Really appreciate it, cause I know you've been busy and have lately.
It's cool seeing everybody here, so thanks everybody for coming out, and,
Yeah,
Excel is my love language, so, I got formulas. But it's impressive, that number at the bottom, 24,206 hours.
yeah,
Full-time work is 2,000 hours in a year, so that's like one person working full-time for 12 years is the equivalent of the training that we're seeing on that piece of paper that everybody's completed. So very educational and eye-opening, and, we should be proud, so well done. You mentioned electricity and water and working with public works. One thing we don't have in this town is, we don't have natural gas.
Right.
Town, but we do have people that have propane tanks.
Mhm.
And in one of those fires, we heard report from neighbors of propane tanks lighting up and like shooting a rocket.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking about the big ones. Like, what do you
No.
guys do about those?
The big ones, we'll go shut them off and then we'll dedicate a hose line to that, just keep it cool. The ones that we're shooting off, the most recent one were the 5-gallon ones that you use for barbecues. So. Yeah, the big ones, we'll run up there, we'll shut them off. And then we'll keep it cool and then tell the homeowner that they can't turn it back on until the propane company comes out and does the safety inspection of their system.
We've all probably seen footage from Spokane, some of these neighborhoods where they're like torches, It's still going, because they got natural gas, and so it was like big tanks, they have a way to relocate it or move it, so it seems a little scary, but
Yep.
as long as you get water on it and it's turned off, then it's, the risk of it exploding is
Very small.
gonna be nice. Thanks.
Bernard,
Yeah, so on the training, my understanding, if you want to become a police officer, you have to go to the police academy.
Yep.
And that's run by the state, it's a very formal structured thing. So is there not a state firefighter academy? Do they not do that training?
There is, and all of this is run through DPSST, which puts on that state fire training academy. But it's very difficult for a volunteer to give up 3 months, Mondays through Friday, to go down to Salem and do that fire academy. So we provide that training in-house to give to the volunteers, so they have the same training that a career member would have.
So how long does it take to get? So you said 3 months, okay, that sounds like more than 180 hours.
So 180 hours is an average of what it should take. Obviously, sometimes it's more, sometimes it's a little bit less. We err on the side of caution and we provide more training, so 180 hours of seat time, and then we have extra days to practice skills and that stuff before they take their test to become certified.
And if a volunteer wanted to go to that and had the time, I assume that's okay.
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Is that free or?
It is free.
Any volunteer wants to do that training?
Yep.
So the state will pay for the training?
Yep.
Okay, and then so because again, most of them have day jobs and they're young family. So to get through that, instead of 3 months, how long does it take your average volunteer to get through?
Usually 6 months,
And-
6 months to a year.
Yeah, so.
Unless they can commit to doing something like Jess has put on, where it's a 3-month. Firefighter 1 academy, where they're meeting 2 nights a week and just busting it out.
It's more intense.
It's more intense.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Shrek,
I just wanna say I'm super impressed with all of you and the time and commitment you're putting into volunteering for this town and the people that live here. And it speaks to the leadership of the department as well, so thank you, really appreciate it.
Tiffany,
I second that. I hope that you can put this online so that people can see what the investment is, for this. And then,
not having anything to do, it was gonna be part of my council comments, but I'd love to see the fire department social media or be part of the city newsletter of preparation, personal home preparation. Just because it's just like a tragic here this year. Also, can we talk about what happens when we have wildfires in the area? Do you go on standby or what happens with our department? Yeah, so if, let's just say that there's a fire that happens in Wasco County. Was it Thursday night we went?
Yep.
So Thursday night's a prime example, they get dispatched to a ground cover fire behind Mama Jane's Pancake House. Great place. Great place. That fire quickly overtaxed their system, so they called in mutual aid from Hood River County. And so with that, every department in the county sends a resource. And so we sent a brush engine as well as myself as the task force leader. So every 2 week or every district has at least one task force leader, and we rotate in a 2 week duty schedule. So for the last 2 weeks, I was the Hood River County task force leader. So anytime we got deployed to outside of our county, I would go and I would manage those resources for the fire chiefs. So each department sends something, we go. They have us for 24 hours, which is an operational period, which is in our mutual aid contract. And then at those 24 hours, they're supposed to release us to come back. Sometimes it gets extended to like 27 hours, but never does it go for multiple days. Once we get past that, then usually the governor will invoke the Conflagration Act. And that releases all local resources back to their home areas to provide 911 service. Unfortunately, at this time, Hood River County doesn't really have the staffing to have a task force go out on a conflagration fire. Back in the day, it used to be a 3-day commitment, then it bumped up to 5, and now it's a 14-day commitment. Well, most of Hood River County is all volunteer. So sending volunteers away for 14 days, most of them at a drop of the hat can't take any time off work. So once there's multiple conflagrations happening, we kind of hold our own and make sure that Hood River County is protected and has all the adequate resources if there's a new fire start in our county.
Yeah, what about the bigger wildfires? Does that impact your department at all?
Not really, not until it starts impacting communities. So last week Hood River County did send 2 resources up to Mount Hood Meadows. When the grasshopper fire was pushing hard west to provide some structural protection until Oregon State Fire Marshal could get some resources to our side of the fire. And then they came home.
Thank you, because I just think it's important that people know that it's not just here.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's the region.
yeah,
So we have, there's a 5-county mutual aid contract. So you have Hood River, Wasco, Sherman, Klickitat, and Skamania County, and we all have this big mutual aid contract. And so if fires happen in any of those counties, we can deploy task forces to those counties.
He's talking about mutual aid, I had a question recently that I brought to John, and I think other people might have this question too, especially with all the traffic impact with the freeway and the Cord Creek Bridge. And one day I'm coming stuck in traffic and I see our fire truck heading west. And then I'm thinking, well, what happens if we have an emergency and they can't get back to town? And so I asked John that, and but can you answer, what do you do in that situation? You're on the road and you guys are stuck in traffic. What happens if there's an emergency in our?
Yeah, so obviously we can only handle pretty much one emergency at a time. So car wreck on the freeway, you're gonna get an ambulance and a fire engine on that call. The fire engine's main responsibility is to provide blocking, so our EMTs and paramedics and our ambulance don't get hit by a car, a semi. It also has all of our extrication equipment on it, so if somebody's trapped in a vehicle, we can cut them out. If we're attached to a call and another call drops, then we call our closest mutual aid partner. So if it's a fire, that would be Stevenson Fire, they would come over. If it's medical, then Skamania County EMS would come over. And provide those services for us while we're on another emergency. Most of the time, there's a couple extra volunteers or myself that are hanging back in our community. In case something else happens, we can respond to that and provide care until an ambulance can get there. Or staff our second out ambulance. Both people are EMT certified.
Mutual aid. So we've got fire and EMS. If we didn't have EMS, would we be able to get EMS mutual aid if we weren't able to provide that ourselves? You know, does that make sense?
We would not, because it's not mutual at that point.
Thanks.
Bernard,
Yeah, so back on the structure fire,
Mhm.
can you talk a little about how the neighborhood notification works? So you get a call for a fire, of course, neighbors may know that, I mean, I know that, it might be in the middle of the night or sleeping, right? Is there an SOP or something that lays out how you, I mean, there's a concentric circle that you tell folks, obviously the next door neighbor, I'm guessing the firefighter, or somebody knocks on the door and says, hey, you got a neighbor on fire, you might wanna remove yourself. Can you talk us through how
Yeah, so structure fires are pretty controllable because they're usually confined to one building, right? Sometimes they do hot buildings, so fire department or the law enforcement officer that shows up will go knock on the adjacent neighbor doors that the fire could impact. But for a whole like neighborhood, generally you don't get a notification unless there's something that's out of the ordinary happening. And that would be handled through our dispatch center, through the Everbridge system, our emergency alert system in the county. To flip it to the wildland side, so say we get a wildland fire and it's making our way towards Cascade Locks. The sheriff is responsible for setting up the evacuation levels and making those notifications. Fire departments in Oregon do not make those determinations. We can make recommendations to the sheriff. Like, hey, I think X, Y, and Z neighborhood should be on level 3 go now. This is on 2, this is on 1, but really it's up to the sheriff to make that determination. And then they would utilize that Everbridge system and their social media. And we try to share that as much as possible. But myself and I think Jess have access to our social media account, our Facebook account. So in the heat of the moment, trying to share a Facebook post is rather difficult. The last 2 structure fires and some of the other calls, I did have some time to hop on social media and say, hey, there's a structure fire on Benson, blah, please stay out of the area. But that's not always going to be the norm. Because as you can see by the board, there's a lot going on.
Right. Just quick follow-up. So if I understand you right, the structure that's on fire, the notification is basically limited to any adjacent property to that structure.
Yes.
It doesn't expand beyond that unless there's some, like high wind or something that
Right.
gives cause for concern.
Or
It's gonna be.
they were storing some stuff that they weren't supposed to, now it's airborne. Then we would take that precaution and have our dispatch center send out.
Sending fumes or something.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Courtney,
I know there's been some community concern about navigating the heavy traffic days. You know, if we have heavier tourism days, we have bridge traffic. And I've seen a lot of people concerned about your guys' ability to navigate through that. Have you had the ability to practice? Have you?
Oh, yeah, we've
seen
had,
what it looks like to get
yeah.
through there? I mean, it's
Yeah.
doable, right?
It's doable, yeah. So obviously responding at 3 AM, nobody's on the road. It's a lot easier than 3 PM on a Sunday, holiday weekend. But we have lights and sirens and we'll drive on the wrong way to pass the line of traffic from here to River and get on the freeway. And then on the freeway, we like to take the center skip line and move everybody left and right to create a lane right down the center. And that tends to work the best. We've tried taking the emergency lane on the right hand side, but driver's ed, everybody's told to pull to the right. So they hear lights and or they hear sirens and then they see lights and they immediately move to the right, so it doesn't usually work out so well. So we like to take the center, but we haven't had. It slows our response a little bit, but I wouldn't say that it was detrimental to any patient or any incident that we responded to.
Any other questions or comments? Thank you guys so much. We really appreciate you and all your work, and the volunteers to volunteer your time is a big commitment these days, cause I know time is everything. And I really appreciate that you guys are willing to volunteer your time and give up that time with your family and stuff to be in our community and help us. So every time I hear the sirens go off, I'm grateful, because I remember the day when we didn't have any sirens that could go off. So I'm very grateful for all of you guys for everything you do, and thank you.
And we have 3 seasonal people this year on a grant from Oregon State Fire Marshal's office, and they started July 1. It's Jess Zerfine, Owen Zerfine, and Shelley. They all started, and they work a 4-10 schedule. So there's extra staffing during the day at the station, ready to respond 7 days a week until about October. So.
Thank you. All right, thank you. Thank you guys for coming. And that's the good stuff.
We're gonna get out of here before that.
We only have good stuff. All right, moving on, committee report. Yeah, none, right? None, no committee reports, right? All right, so we're on the city administrator reports.
So this is the bad stuff?
No, I didn't say that. I said, there's no bad stuff that happens here.
Just check.
Nope, let's go all.
Okay, well, let's go through this. Number 1, 220 Southwest Benson. We're still trying to find the bank. I was able to identify the original lien holder, that Wilmington Financial out of Pennsylvania in 2007. They went out of business in 2013. They were purchased by American International Group. I called them American International Group 5 or 6 different departments, and none of them were able to identify the property as currently in their portfolio. So I still don't know who the current lien holder is. I checked the county every day to see if the ownership has changed on the county records. I have sent a letter to the homeowner, but I have not yet received a response back. No work is being done on the property, but the neighbors are watching. So if the contractor comes, they're gonna call me, and I'm gonna go down and talk to the contractor, see if they can tell me who the owner is. And you do have someone who is interested in buying and cleaning up the property. You just need to get somebody that has the paperwork. Our audit update, number 2. Our efforts to get the 2024 audit ready to go. We learned our auditor will not have staff available until August 17th, next week. So in the meantime, we've still made some significant discoveries. For example, from mid-May 2024 through July 2024, Express Bill Pay had received customer payments which were reflected in our customers' accounts. The charges and payments were recorded in our Cascade accounting software, but the funds received were never transferred from Express Bill Pay to our unit's bank account. If the city had been diligent in reconciling our bank statements each month, we would have noticed that the funds were not transferred. Over $60,000 was collected during that time period. It has been transferred to our bank. It's now in our account. Number 3, water system improvement project. The project is going very well. We did have 2 days last week because of the smoke that they were unable to work. And so they're back at work again this week. Our EDA hardening project, we have received approval from the EDA to proceed with the bidding for our project. Once the bid is received, then we will determine if there is sufficient time and to complete the project. And with the EDA is expecting that when we get the September 6th, I think, is the date that we will open the bids. We should be able to proceed with upgrading the 6 megawatt transformer in the BPA substation, reconnecting it to the grid, upgrading the 14 megawatt pyramid substation, and undergrounding the lines between the pyramid substation through the Snyder property to the industrial park. So we're gonna get about $1 million worth of work done. But that means that we're going to forego 1.2 to 1.4 million because we won't be able to complete anything else in the timeframe. City Hall roof replacement, we have the signed contract with Mr. Brian Kent back. He will be here tomorrow. We will select the color of the asphalt shingles. Depending on the color we select, some colors are harder to get than others. So we will pick one that hopefully they'll be able to start in about 2 weeks and have the building roofed. There's no update on the Court Creek Bridge. No new update on that yet. The Ruckle Creek Slide, they're still working with the US Forest Service on where to take the material that's covering the trail, but it's very close. There is, in your packet, there is the City Hall renovation cost analysis. What it would cost to bring this building up to, building code. And it was a range from 3.5 million to 5.2 million. But you can move that, it's at the back of your staff report. For that, also. Number 9, the Cassell online payment system, that's going to be going live. It's actually live now. But it'll be, or will be live beginning September 1st, but there'll be some overlap time with Express Bill Pay to allow our customers to make the change. You can go through that QR code. There's also a poster in your packet that has a QR code that can get you onto that website if you want to pay your bills through that online portal. Number 10, the governor announced last week there was a rural infrastructure fund grant program for cities under 25,000 people. It provides construction grants from $250,000 to $1 million for qualifying project. It must meet the objectives of our regional solutions area. 2 such objectives are basic water and wastewater infrastructure and community resiliency. I'd like to put together a proposal for a new public works city light building to replace the storage building on the well property on Herman Creek Lane. If successful, we'll be able to house our trucks, equipment, inventory in an 80-foot wide by 60-foot deep, 5-bay insulated industrial building. Proposals are due September 16th. Question, yes.
Yes, 2 such objectives are basic water and wastewater infrastructure and community resiliency. We would prioritize a building over maybe replacing water lines or maybe infrastructure?
Well, we're doing pretty well on our water lines and our street stuff. What I'm concerned is, we're in the land of fire and ice. And our equipment is housed outside. And if we're in the middle of an ice storm and we're trying to respond to an electrical outage and we have to thaw the engine out first. So that's the resiliency part. It's just the real issue is that storage building that we have out there now, it's about 2,300 square feet, is falling apart. I want to replace it. And that's the quickest thing I could figure out how to put together was a building where we could put both our public works equipment in it, have inventory storage, including our transformers, and upstairs offices on the back half of the building for our public works and our city light crew. That would be a relatively simple, within a 2-year time frame project that the city could accomplish. It would take 4 to 6 months to do the engineering, to a design build, and it gives us a 1.5 years to build the building. What the project is supposed to be is ready to go. And I don't have any water line replacements engineered ready to go. So.
Or underlining.
Yeah, we have nothing that's not,
Underground, sorry, not underlining.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, good question.
And that, we don't have an issue with our, asking for a grant when our audits are still behind.
This is, regardless of grants, it's the states. If they're looking to give us, they have $25 million. So, to give out to. Well, there's 242 communities, 272 communities in the state, and the vast majority of them are under. 25,000, so. I'm just trying to put together a project that meets two different community, or two different regional emphasis. And that gets us in a more resilient. Better position than we are. Trying to replace that building that was out here. Trying to repair the damaged building, but we can't. One's off because the beam is broken, so. That's the best thing I could come up with, to write a quick basis. And get the grant in. If we get it, great. If we don't.
All right, sure. Are there any issues with receiving grant without our audits up to date?
There should not be any problem.
Tiffany?
And then back on, the city hall renovation cost analysis, is this just a continuation of? A long time problem, or, I mean, we're just keeping the discussion going, or what?
No, I wanted to find out how much it would cost to bring this building up to building code standard. Because we need to replace our HVAC, we need to replace our electrical, we need to replace our. Just about everything that's in the building, because it's, well, basically 100 years old. And rather than tearing it down. And building new on top of this place. That's gonna cost $5 million. For renovating this thing, it's gonna cost $5 million. There's a lot of history here. And if we can renovate it, make it nicer, not do the whole concept that was previously presented, where we bring the port in on the post office and everything else, though. Just bring this building up to code, so the plumbing is there, the walls are very secure. Double pane windows, so we can have adequate heating and air conditioning. Just, that's all this is. It's just what would it cost to bring the building up to code?
Right, Bernard.
Yeah, just a few things here, so. On the Benson update, so. I appreciate the work you're doing to try to find the lien holder. But I pedaled by there like a couple of days ago, and it is a mess. I mean, it's, and it makes me wanna go like. Let's get a backhoe in there and just. Do a little cleanup, just like a basic level cleanup, because it's such a mess out there. And I don't know how long it's gonna take. Weezer, I feel like I would like to just get revisited. And thank you for putting it on the thing as we asked. So if we're 6 months from now and it's in the same condition, I don't know, I'm gonna be looking to council. I think we should spend some money to clean up the darn property.
But doesn't it
Well,
have
except-
asbestos?
We don't know what's on the property. There's so many.
You could do like a high level, you know, I think, you know what I'm saying, it's not,
I really appreciate it, but unless we have a property owner's permission, we're not going on the property. And if we know what the property owner, who the property owner is, I got a buyer who will go in and clean it up. So that's why it's important to identify who the lien holder is.
okay, that's my first one. The second one, the audits, so give me a quick update, so thank you, I'm glad you guys are doing the work you're doing, this is just. It refreshes my soul every time I hear about what we're uncovering and how we're getting our finance house in order, which I find is so critical, so. When, I don't know, I wanna say, here we are in August, like last spring, we were thinking, we're gonna get to current by the end of December 26th.
That is still.
Is that still,
Okay.
okay, great, all right,
And we're working with the auditors to accomplish that.
okay,
Because once we get them the information and they have the staff to look for it, that process will go pretty quickly. And Mary Ann is continuing with the next year's bank
Right.
statements to get
right,
reconciled.
right.
She's not slowing down. And she's also a bulldog. She's not giving up on the the stuff that we can't identify, like today was $73,000 at a holding account. For what? Well, 48,000 or 45,000 was for, ambulance receipts. 23,000 was for, I forget what the other one was. But at least 6,000 unaccounted for, but really it's 73,000 in a holding account that should not be in a holding account, so we're talking to the auditors for those kinds of decisions.
Okay. And then on the EDA hardening project, so did I hear you right that we're gonna get a connection through the Snyder property by the end of November? Is that correct? Wow, so this thing really is moving forward. I mean, they can do all that work between August and now, and we're talking 3 or 4 months.
They expect the project to take 2 months. After the bid is let, and the council on September 14th awards, gives a notice of award. They expect October and November to get the work done. And then January, February, or December, and January to finish the paperwork so that we can.
So if we're not done in December, I'll give them another extra month.
Okay. As long as we're not spending any more money after January 17th, we'll be okay. Any monies we expend on this project after January 17th will be the responsibility of the city.
Okay, so we're gonna have like, we're gonna have to have a cut date that tell the contractors to come home or go home because you're not gonna make it by January.
So that's what the EDA is gonna ask when we open the bids. Can they get it done in 2 months? How much is it gonna be? What's left over? And that's when we'll make the go, no go decision.
More to follow. No, I got one more, let's see.
All right.
Okay, so the Cascade online payment system. So I'm correct in understanding that there's a lot of accounts like me on auto pay with the EFT. I gave you my checking and routing number. I still need to go do this. Why can't you just do it? I mean, it seems like you have the data. Why can't you just give it to
I
Cascade?
don't know the details. That's not my area.
Well,
I would rather businesses not have my
Yeah.
account information and sell it to another
That's,
person.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's.
It's
Like,
different.
I bet you on our access to look at somebody's account information is the last 4. The
Yeah.
city
you
should
don't
not
have
be
the
seeing, the
information.
city should not be seeing that.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
There's
then-
very,
Third parties.
Yeah.
instead of be all signed, when you're a credit card merchant processor, like you have to agree to these sorts of
Yeah.
safety standards and you put it in the system and then you don't have access to it.
Okay, so
Oh, okay,
just one more comment about that. You've seen the $60,000 that we didn't get with Cassell. It goes right into the Cassell, right into the account, right into the bank. And it's all done automatically.
Yeah.
We don't have to transfer it, so.
okay, so for the folks that are on the auto, when do we have to have this transferred by to not mess up my next bill? Cause again, I don't look at my bill that much, I just, it's
Everybody,
on auto.
everybody will be getting an email, a letter, some kind of notification from the city and Cassell on when they will have to
Oh,
make that
thank you.
change.
All right,
All right. Pete.
I was looking at the substantial city administrator report in our, there's a lot of material here. So I appreciate all the work you're putting in and sharing what you're doing with us. I think it would be just easier to wrap my head around this report. Sometimes we've done it this way where you'll kind of go through it and then we can ask questions about the line item, and I feel like it might make it flow a little better because I feel like each of us has questions and then we're bouncing back and forth on topics. Does that make sense?
Sure. Does
that make sense, Mayor?
Whichever, I just wanna make sure all council members have a chance for questions, so loading up 5 at a
I
time.
second that, like, he presents it
Yeah.
really positive.
And then we can
And I'm circling him, he's zipping it down, oh, I wanna talk about that, I was like, cause he's not the next one before I have a chance to answer
It
questions.
might help us move a little more efficiently because.
I think that's. a
We
good
will
idea.
try. We will try.
In my opinion, it's a good idea.
Audit update, congrats, that's great, that's really positive to hear that, and I think that you said this when about the city hall, renovation cost analysis and looking through the proposal here, it's really a very high level overview and it looks like it's focused on mechanical, electrical, plumbing and fire. But the mechanical does include windows and doors.
No, that's in addition to the HVAC would be with the windows and doors. Of the mechanical, I don't know.
Oh, yeah, under mechanical, it does have envelope penetrations and roof and wall coordination, so. But one of the things you were talking about code compliance and ADA, so would that allow us then to make the building ADA compliant?
The building is ADA compliant.
Is it? Oh. Thought ADA.
Doors.
No, we did that one time.
Okay,
Now, it may not be the most ideal ADA compliant.
but it is.
It is.
Okay, that, I thought we were not, for some reason, I thought we were out of compliance in that. I think you answered all my other questions. I guess the other thing was the EDA hardening project, you know, how long is that grant, how long have we had that?
It was here.
6 years, and we're de-obligating, 1.2 to 1.4 million dollars.
We don't know yet, but yes.
I wondered if there's any way we could get kind of a postmortem about how we got there and what council and staff, how we could avoid that in the future.
I would be happy to provide that for you. The original electrical engineering firm that planned this thing was bought by Vantage Point. All of the engineers that designed it left the company. And so we had new engineers that would start over. And then we had they lost the focus. We've already had one extension on it. That was granted last year because it started in 2017. We're at the end of the life of the program that the federal government had. And we just, the first time we saw a bid document from this company for this process included replacement of the transformer of BPA substation. Knowing we had a deadline, they had the 88 weeks that it would take to get a refurbished transformer, put us way past the deadline. We had to go back and re-examine whether or not we were gonna do that. What we can do to salvage what we can, so what we're gonna get out of this, the best we can get out of it. It's just, they didn't have a chance, didn't have something.
That's really the bottom line, is it just didn't have someone that could put the time and focus into just everything.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't have a full electric department, you know, Derek didn't know what was going on as far as this was concerned. Jordan was doing other things, we were not focusing on this thing.
Do you think it'd be different now? I mean, that's kind of a hypothetical and a big question, but with our the focus we put on electrical staffing, do you think we'd have been able to do this for?
If we would have had Alan Fox in place, yeah, it would have been done. But
So just too many people trying to do too many, too few people trying to do too many things.
right.
Thank you.
All right, Courtney.
So. Are we going with the switch to this new payment system, are we going to lose our payment history and the previous paid bills? Are those gonna get moved over?
No, it's already in the Casella County, it's all there, it's in our historical records.
Okay, and so once you switch over 100%, then we'll have access to all those previous bills. I know that you're not 100% right now. Oh, they are there, they're just not in the other section, perfect. And then when will the link on the website lead to the new payment portal?
You can get to the portal right now through the QR code. Not the link on the website.
What's the time frame for that?
I did add, on the website today, something like this flyer, but you know, formatted a little bit differently so that you can access that. I didn't want to replace the quick links icon that goes to Express Bill Pay just yet, in case people are used to going there to pay their bill.
And so I was just wondering if there was a plan, a timeline
There's this deadline, he said that a letter's coming out from Cascade.
It's disabled October first, so does that mean that link online will be just out October first?
Actually, I think we're probably gonna do it in September. We gotta keep express bill pay for those who do it.
Well, what we've talked about is officially ending express bill pay October 31st, like done. So giving people that time throughout, you know, if they need a little bit more time throughout the month of October, they can have a little bit more time, but officially, I think.
We can operate both systems.
Okay, and last question.
Mhm.
I know that you brought up at the beginning of the meeting that there's no discussion during approval of the minutes. And at the previous meeting, we had brought up that if we wanted to pull something out of the agenda, that we were able to do that. If it's not during discussion, then when is the appropriate time to pull things out of the agenda to vote on them separately?
When the consent agenda is moved and seconded, if you have something you want to pull and say, hold on, I want to pull this. You pull that, the agenda, the consent agenda is then modified. After the consent agenda is approved, then you discuss what was pulled.
So the mayor doesn't open it up to everybody, you interject and
Right.
speak up?
You guys.
Okay. Cool, just learning new
Right,
things.
no, Tiffany.
Made second, and then after that, it's the way we used to do it, but then everything got muddled. On the Cassell online payment system, is the fee still $3? How much is the fee to use
It's,
it?
3% for debit credit. And it was previously $1 for ACH transactions. That will be going up to $1.75 for electronic checks.
So 3% of the bill is.
If you're paying with the credit card or debit card.
Which, what it is now.
it's kind of the same thing.
All right, anybody else have any questions, comments? Bernard?
Okay, so, did I hear you guys, you said we're shutting down Village President October 31st, but it says October 1st, are we having inside information?
Well, they're hoping, I think they're putting October first, hoping that everybody gets it done, however, technically not shutting it down till 31st, because there's always ones that do not do it on,
I understand.
A soft close.
you know,
Got it. Thank you.
just to cover it. And the nice thing about going to Casell and getting away from express bill pay is the city staff don't actually have to pick up a phone and get our call to get our money. And they have to do that currently with express bill pay.
Hmm.
And if they don't, then Casell or express bill pay just keeps it.
Well,
They do.
yeah.
That's how the 60,000 got there, couldn't. So. All right, moving on.
And the final thing on my
What did you
report.
do? You have something else?
Get to the last one.
Okay,
Any other questions on 1 through 10?
yeah.
Name your number, tell me tomorrow.
Speak now.
On 11, fire hall microgrid project that we have developed and designed build project improvement. We're going out for requests for proposals to be published on this 31st with a response date October 1st. For the first meeting in October, we should be able to select the entity to do the design build, putting a microgrid on top of the fire station.
All right, any questions about the fire station grid? All right, so moving on to mayor and city council comments, and we'll start with you, Bernard.
So I went to the community night and Burnett night out, great effort. Smoke wasn't bad, I was gonna say, I don't know. It's interesting, different people respond that smoke pollution differently. I met one person, I mean, I was on the phone, they were coughing every third word. I said, oh my God, I'm just getting crushed by this thing, and I didn't feel it at all, so it's fascinating. I'm glad we went forward with it, I understand there was a discussion, maybe postponing it, and I'm glad we did, I thought it was a great event. Anyway, the Forest Service was there, and they were pushing fire safety, wildland fires, and how to protect your house, and some of us are familiar with being a Firewise house. If you do all these things, then I think you can be classified a Firewise house. not only are you reducing your risk, but I'd like to think someday insurance would be cheaper, right? Because you're just there's less probability your house is gonna be burned if you're impacted by a wildfire because you've done all the fire wide steps. I mean, we see it, like, it seems like every year, the fires are getting worse. And I'd like the city to, I don't know, I wanted to talk to Chief, I feel like he had enough one.
Yeah.
So eventually, I would like to, maybe when we do our next council retreat, we talk about making Cascade Locks a firewise community. We really push that, so every household knows what the steps are. And maybe we have a little grant program if they need some money to make their houses firewise, but that's something I would like to, spend some energy on as we move forward with our many challenges. And then the last thing's the Scotch broom update. It was a bust because the chipper didn't work. We go to Hood River, rent this chipper. I didn't test it there. I assumed it looked brand new, and unfortunately, the engine worked, but the blade wasn't sharp enough. Something. It was taking me like 2 minutes to chip one brush. I'm like, oh my God, I got 1,000 brushes here. There's no way I can do this in a normal, reasonable timeline. So I understand Dennis Snyder has a chipper, and I haven't reached out, but I'm gonna see if he would maybe rent that or, But, we're still removing it, even though we haven't cleared that, and, the work goes on, so I will eventually get this thing done. So, look for a post on Facebook when I'm recruiting folks to help me do the chipping day, because it's a multi-person effort. And let's see, and we've got PCT days this weekend, so get ready, it's gonna be crazy as always. And should be fun, and I'm just loving this summer, it's just been such a beautiful summer. I was out in the water today windsurfing, my buddy was standing at paddleboarding, and we we're just high-fiving, saying, oh my God, how blessed we are to get to live here, so. Thank you.
Thank you, Bernard. Courtney?
Another appreciation shout out to the fire department, Chief Logan. I loved seeing the presentation of certificates. It was very nice. National Night Out was so much fun. I didn't have much time to stay too long. And I did stop and visit for a little while, and they really pulled together and made the most with all the fires, and the show must go on attitude. It was good to see. That's all I've got tonight.
Thank you, Courtney. Tiffany?
I wanna second what Bernard said about Firewise. It's a good program, and I think it would be benefit to the community. I also went to National Night Out. I wish they had postponed it. We weren't able to stay and watch the movie afterwards, but I don't know, everybody else around us was canceling, and I wish we would have done it with more. We could have had more people there. A lot of people couldn't come. I too thank the fire department for coming. That's a really nice thing to see. It's really nice for the community to be able to participate in that. And I wanna say, like I said before, I would like to see the fire department part. I know that they're really busy, but they can post simple things up offline to be able to be part of the new city newsletter about being prepared or having numbers or something that includes them, because they are a department. I mean, I'd really like to see something from all the departments, but I don't know how plausible it would be, but it would be nice for the community to know what's going on in their departments. I would also, not only is PCT days, it is also Community County Fair weekend. And so, I mean, it is going to be really stiff in town. I'm just gonna say that out loud. It's gonna be a tough weekend for locals, I think. But I also wanna really strongly urge the community to please start preparing now for a fire. We just have, I mean, it is all around us, and there are great resources out there through Firewise, through FEMA, through Red Cross. There's just absolutely no reason to not be prepared for something that could happen in an instant, and I just really would, it would just make everybody's life easier if people would just get ready. It doesn't take that much. Get your documents together, get your medications together, get your cages where you can put your pets down. There's lots of resources out there. There's no reason not to have a second backup, because we were actually in Mosier watching a wrestling event at a friend's house, and Pacific Power had shut off the power in the middle of the show. I mean, so, you know, it can happen at any time, and I mean, they're not gonna keep us comfortable because it's convenient for us, but it can cause more harm for them. So we just really need to be prepared, have backup energy, have, you know, prepare yourselves. There's just, I don't wanna see people get caught flat-footed, and there's no reason to, because like I said, it is all around us. It is completely all around us, and we just really need to take warning and be prepared. Because I mean, we're a community, and I just wanna see us succeed and be prepared. 72-hour food, you know, because, and plus there's like earthquakes going on and volcanoes blowing up, and you know, resources are gonna be completely imploded when a disaster happens, and we have a responsibility to ourselves and to our families to be able to take care of ourselves for at least the first 72 hours while things are being assessed. So I just literally want to put a fire under people's butts to get motivated to be your own best self-advocate to be in your life.
Got it?
Yep.
All right, Tom.
Yeah, I went to the National Night Out too, and I thought, well, you just gotta remember those kind, there was a lot of planning, a lot went into something like it, it's hard to. But I thought you did a great job, and to bring in all the people in the Forest Service, the fire, you know, the sheriff's department, the tank, whatever, yeah. It was. They brought in a lot of stuff, a lot of people came, and there was a lot of organizations, something like that, and again, that's a volunteer effort on people's, but it went really well, and the food went really well. I appreciate Bridgeside for everything they did on that. Same with our fire service, you saw what we had here in Numbers. There was a time when nobody would come to us for mutual aid, because we didn't have a solid enough fire department to do it. Now, we're one of those that we're giving mutual aid to everybody else. We're at that level where we can have a lot of, they come to us quickly. They're on there. We've been there. We're Johnny on the spot. There was a time they're going, hey, and you can't give us aid. We're not giving you it. So I appreciate the level that our fire department has moved to, and it's pretty amazing all the stuff they have to go through to do that. But I would just also like, having been through a number of fires here over the years, it amazes me. Cause I grew up, you know, I've lived all my life, and I remember times where the town and going to the woods and all that, everything was pretty open. It was all pretty wide. It is amazing what a fire does to you though. We got a fire in 2003, we had a fire in, I don't know, 15 or something down here, then the 17 fire. You go anywhere where the 17 fire was right now, and it is it is thick. The 2003, just go from Shahala, if you go to Shahala to the Herman Creek Bridge, that hillside, that was gone. There was nothing there. That was burnt to the ground. Go look at it right now from 2003. You go to any one of the fires around here where an area was burnt, where absolutely nothing was left from those fires. And now it is thick. I mean, you can do all you want for your house, but what's going on around us, and it's pretty close to this town, is it's gonna generate a tremendous amount of heat and a tremendous amount of material that can blow around them. I agree, we need to keep an eye on things, but we are already, there's so much fuel around us, that the fuel is turned from a forest fire. You gotta get the tree going, and the trees right, and you look at that, and that's all really impressive to see these trees going. But just look at around the country where a simple grass fire And something that's only 2 or 3 foot could take out everything. That's what we've got around us. We got the difference between a tree and grass fire. We're higher than grass fire, not as high as the tree, but we've got thick. But as you would attest to when you're going up doing on Dry Creek Road,
Right.
that area used to be pretty open up there. But it isn't open now. It's amazing what happens after fire. We've got enough of them around here that all this land around us is just, take a look around the area around here. So my thing is, I think we need to go beyond what we do for the homes. We need to figure out what we can do with the railroads and this property down here, Fire Star, that is totally, there is more vegetation there than was, and it almost took out the houses down here, but it's up higher and thicker than it was before that fire. And there's, like I say, look at the hillside from Shahala to Herman Creek Bridge. That's all you gotta do is look at that. And everywhere around here where there's been a fire, it looks just like that. It is thick. So the thought is to take a look at these things, like Bernard said, and you know, that we're talking about, it's more than your homes. It's can we generate some fire breaks on? And I'm not saying go cut all the brush down, but I'm saying talk to some people, talk to John, talk to the Forest Service. Is there something we can do around us in some of these areas to just, because that's what they do when they come in for fire. When they come in, they're bringing a caddy. And they're making a fire break. And a lot of times, that's all you needed. If you had that break in there, it's coming at you, it slows it down, now you have a chance to go at it. So I'm looking at, you know, talking to people and I'm not saying, let's clear everything out of here. I'm saying, talk to some experts and say, are there some areas around here where we can establish a fire break for ourselves? Because we have got a ton of vegetation all around this town. Hey, that's because we're in it, and we've seen it all the way around us. And unfortunately, you think that, well, it's all burnt off up here, so now it's all gone. We don't have to worry about it. Oh, no, it has grown back big time. Once it's not a forest fire anymore. That mountainside is a brush fire now, and that's as dangerous, if not more dangerous than the kind of forest fire. Because the forest fire crept on us. That next fire coming through there, it's gonna roar through there. So anyway, but I believe, talking to the experts, we can find some potential fire breaks for our community, along with, you know, the home, the Firewise stuff. Yeah, and that's it for me.
That's it. Sherelle.
This was my first ever national night out, first I've ever been, and I was really impressed. I was thinking they should have canceled it too because of the smoke and people wouldn't be able to come and enjoy it. But when I showed up, everybody was all hands on deck, punting, you know, just getting it to work, you know, inside, indoors, so most people could enjoy it. And it was a great turnout too. And just watching everybody in our community and Main Street, and the court, the fire department, everybody all hands on deck, putting in the time and effort for this little town. It was nice. I liked it. Yeah. That's it.
Lots of talks about fire.
Oh.
I just, I think when we're so busy taking care of the problems we're addressing, sometimes it makes it difficult for me to think a few steps ahead, you know, and so I applaud you, Bernard, for thinking, you know, having a little bit of a vision and thinking, all right, what are we gonna work on next? I love the idea of it being a Firewise community, where it's not just individual homeowners who are taking this on, but it's the community that we're saying that we recognize this risk and together we're gonna work to try to mitigate it in these ways. And the idea of having some sort of grant fund to help people that maybe don't have resources or the physical ability to do it themselves. I think that's really brilliant. You know, we do a lot of fire hazard mitigation. I do a lot of that work that we do, and it used to be that we clean gutters for people in the fall. And now it's like June, July, you know, people are calling us to get the pine needles off the roof and out of the gutters, and I think there's but it's not cheap, and you know, so some people might not have the resources for that, and it's not easy for necessarily everybody to get out there and do it themselves. So applaud you for thinking a few steps ahead. That's a good discussion. And I think it ties directly back to the windsong grass, you know, that overgrew that we've been talking about. I've been talking about it for the last couple of council meetings, and I pulled John aside and asked him a little bit more about it. And you might know more about this, Gordon, than correct me if I'm wrong, but what I understood from John was that the way that things are written right now, he can't do anything, and he can't send them any letters until July 13th. Is that
July
accurate?
13th.
That's what I thought he told me.
I think it's the middle of May, but if nothing happens, then he sends out penalty letters on the middle of June or July. But in that particular case, they just have to clear a fire break. They don't have to cover the whole property. So that does that, and John has it on his radar to look at that whole ordinance and to see what they can do to improve it.
And then, so I told John that I felt like council would be supportive of, you know, if there's things that, I feel like the fire season has shifted and has changed. And, you know, if there's things that we need to adjust on that timeline, then bring it to us so that we can be aware of it. And, you know, obviously, I think that I'm supportive of whatever we can do to arm John so that he can be more effective at advocating for us, for some of these absentee landlords that maybe aren't here. And sometimes people aren't gonna take action unless you actually force them to do something, so. Today I was out on Lolo Pass and came across some PCT hikers, and one of them was having a medical emergency. And they're in the middle of the woods, and luckily my phone worked and I was able to help them get some emergency services. But you know who responded was the fire department. I think they were rhododendron, came up Lolo Pass to kind of help them out, but. You know, to their point, they do a lot more than firefighting, and it's, you know, it's the name, but you know, you look at that list of training and all the things they have to be prepared for. Hazmat, I didn't even, of course, it makes sense when he brings it up, but I hadn't thought about it until he said something about it, so appreciated that as well. And that's all I got there.
Okay, thank you, Pete. And I did add it to the to-do list for the new city administrator to help us coordinate for our firewise so we can get that discussion going. And so, cause I have a list, so if you guys have things that you want added to the list, then feel free to forward them on.
You can walk in with it.
The next 5 years.
I'm glad that so many of you guys attended National Night Out. I really wanted to go. My husband actually is a lung cancer survivor and has no upper lungs, so he only has the bottom lungs. So smoke is deadly to him. Which means that when the levels got up like they did, I had to shut my house up and have the filters on and the AC, and we did not open the door for nothing, not even to walk outside, cause just that little bit. And had to place them on oxygen and all that, so it is different for other people. And speaking of that, I was planning on attending the OMA in Ashland, and I canceled that as a result of the smoke as well. I did go around and email and go around to businesses for donations for the mayor basket. And I did get quite a bit of donations. And before I tell you who donated and all that, I will tell you guys, but I wanted to let you guys know that since then, since I didn't go to the OMA conference, I've since contacted the businesses that donated and asked them if they wanted it back, or if they wanted me to go ahead and forward the donation to the Cascade Locks Alumni Association so they can do a raffle. And a lot of them did agree. I just want to mention a few, the people that did donate. Trails Diverse donated a $50 gift card. Thunder Island Brewery donated $119 in all. They donated a picnic blanket, playing cards, fanny pack, hot sauce, 2 stickers, and a $50 gift card. Mary's Morning Melody, she donated 2 jars of jam. Ridgeside donated Centennial Bridge coffee cup. Main Street Cascade Locks donated a picnic basket and a t-shirt. Porter Cascade Locks donated a vest. Buddy's Arcade donated a large t-shirt and a $25 gift card. The City of Cascade Locks put a coffee cup, hat cup, and postcards. Bergen's Fish Market, 2 pairs of earrings and a $25 gift card. Bike the Gorge, $150 gift card. Cascade Locks Fire and EMS did a patch and a challenge coin. Jetty Light Operations gave us 2 adult tickets to ride the stern wheeler through the Bonneville Lockage Tour. And then also they gave us a sunset selling charter to ride the sail boats in the sunset for 2 people. Then we're all for 2 people. So like I said, most of these, I want to thank all the businesses and people that did donate. And then most of these will be forwarded on. So the Cascade Locks Alumni Association uses their silent auction basket to give scholarships to children or kids that are from Cascade Locks for college and programs like that. So I want to say thank you to all of the businesses. And then I want to remind people, and if you guys could help, we have 3 openings still on tourism, 2 on budget and 1 on planning. And then we do have 3 council seats that are coming up and a mayor seat. August 25th is the deadline.
Unless you are up for an elected, if you're an elected position and you're up for re-election, it's a week sooner, I think.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
It's good.
So just, if you are in an elected position and you're coming up, the deadline's a week earlier than,
So it'll be the 18th?
incumbent, that's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah,
Incumbent,
yeah,
sorry.
yeah. That's
Elected
good information.
Do you know who in seats are up?
Your seat, Sherelle, and Courtney, so. You shouldn't say. And mine. Yes.
Thanks, I was just a little unclear because we had so many vacancies and people changed and it's like, who,
We have been through it. We have been through it. And then I drove around today and I seen that the construction on Wheeler Street is going on, which is nice. The water and all that is amazing. I'm so glad to see that the streets are getting done and Sunset and Ventura are getting done as well. And then Gordon gave us this packet a few meetings ago where we pick out what our priorities are for the LLC. Just wanted to remind you guys, he's gonna be bringing that up at the September 14th meeting, so we can talk about it. We can tell the LLC which way we wanna go, so just so you can pull it and read it. And then, the visitor center, if they're, gonna be staffing that, they've had some logistic problems in the beginning. We just had a meeting about it today. And it is gonna be staffed. I stepped up to set in the visitor center from 10 to 4 on September 1st. So it's anybody that can volunteer that knows anything about Cascade Locks, and it's Monday through Thursday that they're looking for. So if you have any dates available or anything, and we're only trying to cover it through the rest of the summer and to the fall, because winter it doesn't need to be covered. And then I wanted to say thank you to the port and to the fire department and all of the volunteers. It is so good to see. I remember when we had no volunteers. I remember when Skamania County sent us a letter because we were not doing mutual aid. It was during your term, Tom, and they were gonna start charging us, right?
Thanks.
Well, you remember it's what I mean, but yeah, they were gonna,
I got jumped.
yeah, they were gonna start charging us for that,
Yeah.
you know, because we weren't doing mutual aid. And you could call and you wouldn't get help. And then I wanna say, happy birthday to Tiffany. And then that's all I have. Bernard.
So we all received the COSTA study on the electric utility.
Mhm.
And I don't know about you, if you've read it, the numbers are pretty alarming in there. When are we gonna be talking about that as a council? Is that on the agenda?
That's on the agenda for the 24th.
Of this month.
Next council meeting.
Great, thank you.
And I'll be supplying some more information on, comparisons for other utilities, so you can see that kind of stuff.
All right.
I just wanna say too, that I appreciate how open that John is and he's willing and he's, you know. Just available and, you know, that wasn't always true. And I really appreciate how he's really a member of the community. I mean, he's just really right in here and willing to do all the different things.
Yeah. Anybody else have any comments?
Sorry.
That's okay.
We're doing alibis. I just, one thing I wanted to recognize was that. And it was ties to the wildfire, I was taking care of that combustible material around our homes, and it wasn't that long ago that we looked at actually shutting down our yard waste disposal in the city.
Mhm.
And I just wanted to recognize the mayor, and I think, Mary Ann's been with you, but just all the work that's gone into keeping that access available for our residents to be able to utilize, get the Kirk burner in here. To get rid of the excess debris that was piling up there, that was the reason why they said we didn't keep throwing stuff over there. But you've been working there, you see how many loads people drop off, and all of that stuff is, we need to get that material away from people's homes and disposed of in a safe manner, so I just wanna recognize the efforts that you're making that you to have.
Yes, yes.
They clean up around the homes up there on Skull.
They did a fire break around the roads,
Hey, what?
they did a fire break around all the roads, I don't know, that they get it all night.
I've heard that they were doing Shahala Hill, right, where it burned before, were they working on that?
I don't know about Shahala Hill, but
No?
just the development ones on phase two,
Okay.
all those undeveloped.
Well, there was a house up there before that was there.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
That house went with the 2 houses. It raced up that hillside.
I thought they.
The fire department couldn't get there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's thicker now than it was then.
All right, I'll entertain a motion. Really? Second? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All right. We're good. Thank you, guys. Yeah, it's happening.
First thing you go is your water.
I just figured it's because we had a bit of a distraction.
A little bit.
That's all right.
See ya.